We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Good morning. We light that 3 times, or bang the gong 3 times. It's important to us. That first time is for those who have gone before us, and the second time is for all of you who are here, and the third time is for those who will come. And that starts our service. I am Lolene Fifield, and I am your part-time service leader for today. I am sharing today's service with Kathy Mitchell, and she will be joining us shortly. I do want to tell you, it's so nice to see you. It's wonderful to welcome those of you who haven't been here for a while, and I see a couple of new faces, and gosh, welcome. You are so welcome here. Whomever you love, whoever you are, however you identify yourself, whoever you love, this is a place where you're welcome. So sit back and relax. I have some important announcements, and the first one, of course, is please stay with us after the service. Normally I would say for tea and coffee, but today it's for lunch. So stay, let us get to know you a little better, and for right now, just relax. Our congregation, Umpqua Unitarian Universalist, love our name Umpqua. It's especially special for us. It acknowledges the people who came before us. It acknowledges the river that flows through us. And of course, it is the name of our church. But most importantly, it acknowledges the Umpqua tribe and all that they have given us in caring for this land for thousands of years, and all that they continue to give. You have announcements. They are in your order of service. As I mentioned, an important one, of course, is that lunch. But there are other activities going on, so please do look that over carefully so that you don't miss something that you might wish you hadn't missed. A rather important announcement, of course, if you have a cell phone, turn it off. And in addition to that, we just want to thank our greeters, Alan Mary Herring, for their work, our media director, Jake Tranter, for the music that he puts and the sound that he gets and all that he mixes together, and the services that go up on YouTube. And of course, Sean Shea, who is our musician playing his beautiful, creative, original, often music, and you'll hear from him later. We also welcome our live streaming audience. They are with us on camera, as they are every week, and it's important to say hi. The first thing we do today is collect your money or your food for the Fish Food Pantry. We do this with other Roseburg congregations, and it helps feed those who are in need or ill and need our help. So the baskets are coming around. Anything you can give is most appreciated. Thank you so much for whatever it was you gave. I'm going to shift a little bit because I have another job up here today. And this job is one that's really, really important to me. I've been around here for about 15 years. And prior to that 15 years, I was one of those unchurched people, just never been to church. And in those 15 years, I have learned a lot. I have grown a lot. I have become much more congregational. And I feel this home has given me a great deal. And I also feel that I've brought a thing or two. And this is my thing or two that I'm really proud of. It isn't that our congregation has always been very careful about making the things that we do here affordable and including everyone. But when I was doing concerts in the last 50 years, I always had a sign that hung everywhere that said, more if you can, and less if you can't. So the theme today for my pledge ask of you is exactly that. And I got two stories I want to tell you. One story is maybe a year and a half ago. The very first family that was sponsored from Ukraine came here one evening. They hadn't been here very long and they didn't really speak English, but their sponsor had told them there was a concert here. And they thought that these people would enjoy it. And so they came in. They had very little money, and they didn't really understand the denominations of that money, and asked me how much. And so we had this sort of hand and broken words conversation that indicated that how much depended on what they had. And I said, "Is this what you have?" And she says, "Yes, we're from Ukraine." And I said, "Please, come on in. Welcome to the United States. Welcome to our congregation, and enjoy our music." A couple weeks ago, that happened again. And another family came in, and the question was about, do you pay for children? And my response again was the same. You pay what you can. Now, the ticket price said $25, but 25 doesn't mean a whole lot, and I want to tell you why 25 doesn't mean a whole lot. I went to the bank before that concert. The concert was Lisa Lynn and Aria Frankfurter, and I got $100 in $5 bills to make change, figuring a lot of people would give me a 20 and a 10, and I'd have to give them $5 back. Other people might give me two 20s, and then I'd have to give them a 10 and a 5 back. When that concert was over, I had only given away 3 of those 5s. And we made more than we would have made if everyone had paid $25. Because the more if you can works. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you're going to leave a tip. Some of us feel at our age, we're supporting Roseburg. We can afford to eat out. So we tip maybe 3 times as much because the people waiting on us are working hard and probably supporting their own families. So that's my message to you today. The pledge cards, I think, have been mailed if they haven't been picked up. If you haven't signed yours yet, please keep in mind that simple line. More if you can, and less if you cannot. It works out. Thank you. Kathy? Kathy and I would like to do a chalice lighting together. It's entitled A True Story.
Am I on? Yeah, okay. This chalice is for the living, the changing, the becoming.
This chalice is for losing the script of your life. The chapters that were about who you are in other people's stories.
This chalice is for the lost GPS that was supposed to show you how to get where they expected you to go.
This chalice is for skipping the directions, coloring outside the lines, painting not by numbers, but by silence, by wild abandon, with a brush you made yourself and from the light deep inside you.
Startling, vivid, a new voice that already knows you. Finally, a true story. Our opening words are from Carl Jung. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. Now we have a short story on video, and after that we'll sing any children who want to go downstairs.
Be kind in all you do. 3, help each other learn. 4, and search for what is true. 5, all people have a say. 6, look for a peaceful world. 7, the web of life's away. And we fight systemic racism.
So, do we have children going downstairs? Do we have someone to go with them and a volunteer? Okay, and a song. Our first hymn reminds us of how varied and wonderful we are.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
Now is the time in our service where we share our joys and concerns with spoken or silent candle lighting. Please form a line to my right, your left, and if your candle is spoken, please give your name. Now is the time in our service. Am I on? Okay, good. That we collect our offering for our church, the offering which sustains and keeps this place running, and that we can encourage others and continue to exist. And now Sean has an anthem for us.
Oh, but first, from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. I just love that hymn that we heard a few minutes ago. It reminded me a lot of the poem by William Wordsworth. There's a particular line in it, passage. Our birth is but a forgetting. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Our life star that rises with us cometh from afar. And that's kind of what this song is about too. Didn't I tell you? It's based on a poem by Rumi. Jake and I are going to try and experiment, see if we can keep the video, which has the lyrics in it, along with kind of telling a story in pictures, keep it in sync with the words. Didn't I tell you? Don't run away from me. Didn't I tell you? In this empty fantasy, even if for centuries you wander angrily, you'll never find another true companion like me, since I'm your source of life and your final destiny. You'll have to come back home to me. Didn't I tell you? Things are not as they seem. Didn't I tell you? This world is really just a dream, a play of shadows and light dancing on the screen, a multicolored magic show cast by a mighty beam. But if you go inside and take a peek behind the scenes, There you will find only me. Didn't I tell you? You're a little fish and I'm the sea. Didn't I tell you? Repose in me cheerfully. In dry land you'll find only pain and agony. Stay where you are suited to find comfort and peace. In my boundless waters you can dance and feel at ease. Your happiness lies here with me. Didn't I tell you? Don't get caught in the net. Didn't I tell you? Later on you'll regret. Like a blind bird that falls for the hunter's tasty bait, you'll only see the danger when it's too late. On your wings, your power to soar effortlessly. Come to me if you want to be free. Didn't I tell you? Watch out for that band of thieves. Didn't I tell you? It's their nature to deceive. They'll snatch away your fire and they'll lead you astray. They'll leave you cold and empty and make you lose your way. I'm your fire, your heartbeat, your vital energy. Your life breath is only in me. Didn't I tell you? You'll get covered with filth. Didn't I tell you? You'll forget your true self. But underneath this ugliness you take yourself to be. There lies a shining diamond, your true identity. I'm your primal innocence, your spring of purity. Your essence as soul is in me. Didn't I tell you? Don't worry how things will turn out. Didn't I tell you? Keep your faith firm and have no doubt. I'm your wise creator, I'm with you everywhere. Everything is in my hands, although you're not aware. I'm the master planner, arranging your affairs. It's all set in order by me. Didn't I tell you? Our journey is the way of love. Didn't I tell you? You'll be guided from above. If your heart is full of light, it will help you to see the path that will lead you right back home to me. Know that love's the final goal and love's the secret key that will open the doorway to me. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you?
Thank you, Sean. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today. Many of you know her, but for those who do not, Donna Smith is our beloved chaplain, spiritual leader, workshop presenter, advisor, and accountant here at UCC. After retiring in 2009, after many years working as a CPA, Donna became a Unity Worldwide Ministry spiritual leader, focusing her training on pastoral care. Since 2013, she's done guest speaking regularly here at UCC, UUC, in Roseburg, Unity of Roseburg, and the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Donna offers spiritual counseling and crystal Reiki healing sessions. She's a certified teacher of A Course in Miracles and of nonviolent communication. About herself, she says, "My heart is most joyful when I can help others find peace and joy in their lives. I love to travel, have fun, and serve humanity and the world as divinely guided." Donna. Do you need the step? I thought you would.
Good morning, everyone. Very good to see you. Is this working? There we go. You can hear me now, correct? Good, good. Well, today is when ego meets non-ego. So I want everyone to look on your right shoulder and see that beautiful little angel that sits there. It has a halo and it has wings, and it has this wonderful glowing smile. Now I want you to look on your left shoulder, and there you're going to see this little red devil. Has horns and pitchfork, and it has a smirky little smile, okay? And if you say that you don't see a devil on your left shoulder, I think you're probably in denial, yeah? The concept of an eagle and a devil standing on a person's shoulders is a common trope in storytelling and visual representation. And we've all probably seen the cartoons with all of that. The angel is often depicted on the right shoulder and the devil on the left, symbolizing the struggle between good and evil. However, This is not a universal belief and varies depending on the cultural and the religious context. But I think we're all very familiar with that. We all experience those times when we merrily go along our way, living in happiness, and our little angel is there guiding us along, and we're just having a great time. Inevitably, though, that little devil, it comes to life, doesn't it, sometimes? And sometimes it's surprising when it comes. But all of a sudden, here you're feeling anger maybe, resentment, maybe a little depression or whatever. And what happens is that controls your life around you because you're paying attention to that little devil on your shoulder. And when you follow the devil's guidance, don't you feel some kind of gnawing in your tummy? Be honest. Mm-hmm. Do you not carry that feeling with you? Possibly not sleeping well, and maybe even feeling shame and guilt? Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, do you not have those times when you're torn about what to do because you know in your heart it may hurt another? And do you not have those times when you choose for yourself because you're afraid you won't have enough if you share? Or if you don't grab something before someone else gets it so that you aren't left out? The belief in lack is prevalent. The devil loves that because that kind of thought keeps it alive. For you see, the devil, which is called the ego, you can use either term you want, survives by creating problems through fear. Your little angel, on the other hand, guides you to do the things that create happiness and peace for you and all those around you. That little angel is your higher self, and it always is there for you. Your higher self is the pathway to your soul. It's that part of us that comes to earth with us when we decide to incarnate. And so it is that wonderful pathway where we can access the wisdom of our souls. That's that little angel on your right shoulder. Excuse me here. My papers are stuck. Must be the little devil doing something, huh? This is the basic dilemma for all of us who have decided to come to Mother Earth and spend a lifetime in the physical realm. It seems that the moment you choose to come to Earth, you will carry with you the thought of separation. And this thought is the same as the ego. Because think about it, if we feel very connected to who our source, you might want to call, whatever you want to call it, source, God, our creator, then there would be no fear, would there? So we have come here right away with the thought of separation. So why is this? A soul decides for whatever reason that it would like to learn and grow in certain areas through having experiences. So what do? We create Mother Earth, a physical place where we can come and have experiences. Now, our souls, from that perspective, does not see right or wrong or good or bad. The soul sees all of this as having an experience where we can learn and grow in whatever way that we purposely came to Mother Earth. And so the soul sees everything that happens here as perfect. Okay, everything that happens here is based on our choices in life. But the soul sees that as opportunities in order to learn and grow. However, the ego believes wholeheartedly in right and wrong and good and bad. In fact, it has to in order to survive. So ask yourself this question. Do you believe in right, wrong, and good and bad? And this is not about judgment of yourself or any others. Okay, just leave judgment somewhere else. Okay, it is actually through our egos that we learn and grow, because it is through our egos where we make those mistakes that are the catalyst for us learning about ourselves. So this is not about putting down the ego. In fact, the ego really just needs a lot of love, is what it needs. So let's let judgment go, and let's just look at what is happening instead. So there are people on this earth today who have actually released their ego. And we're going to find out the importance of that in a little bit. But what I want you to know is, so releasing your ego does not mean you have to leave the earth, leave your family and your friends, and leave the physical life. That is not what that means. Now, the ego delights in keeping you away from learning about true self, keeping you in fear of death and loss. And again, that's how it survives. However, the truth of your essence, which is love, which I've told you so many times, you know, that is our true essence. It is so much greater than fear that it will and must shine through to your awareness. It will do that. And it can do that easily, or it can do it through you going along kicking and screaming, however you want to do it. But it is so much a part of the truth of who we are, and it is so powerful that eventually it will be the dominant force in your life. So during these times when both your angel and your devil are giving you guidance, you know those times, don't you? When you're looking this way and then this way, but, you're going back and forth, and you're really torn. And this is kind of a test for me, anyway, is what am I going to let dominate my thoughts here, fear or love? Now, you may ask everyone around you what to do when you're in this kind of situation. You may Google all kinds of things looking for guidance as to what to do. I mean, after all, if it's on the web, it's true, right? Right. Eckhart Tolle writes, "The ego cannot tell the difference between an event and its reaction to that event. Every ego is a matter of selective perception and distorted interpretation. Only through awareness, not through thinking, can you differentiate between fact and opinion. Only through awareness are you able to see that there is the situation, and here is the anger I feel about it." In other words, you bring yourself right to the present moment. Yes, I feel angry. That's okay. You feel angry. You don't want to stuff that down. If you're feeling angry, you feel angry. But how do you feel about it? How do you feel about being angry? What is it doing to you? And then you realize that there are probably other solutions to this, other ways of seeing with it and dealing with it. I remember the greatest lesson I ever learned when I studied A Course in Miracles was that I had a choice. And you might say, well, of course we have choices, but I didn't even understand that concept back then. We do have a choice every moment of how we think, we feel, and how we act, how we speak. Mahatma Gandhi reminds us the human voice can never reach the distance that is covered by the still, small voice of conscience. In Unity, we have a term for this turmoil. We call it chemicalization. It's like adding vinegar to milk, and you know that it curdles, and because it's not compatible, there is chaos going on. And chemicalization is a process that occurs when we have exposed deeply rooted negative belief systems. It is a condition of the mind that is brought about by the conflict that takes place when a high spiritual realization contacts an old error state of consciousness. It is like an inner war. And I think we can all relate to that inner war feeling. Now, rising consciousness occurs when you listen to that little angel on your right shoulder, your higher self, regardless of what the circumstances you find yourself in at the moment. Listening to your higher self will always bring a sense of wisdom and peace. Usually, if you are listening to your ego, you will be experiencing suffering and pain, because that's exactly what it does to keep control of you. Of Course in Miracle teaches that when we do something that it goes against who we are, our nature, our loving nature, our pain is so great that we cannot stand to hold on to it. So what do? We project it onto others. We project our pain onto others. It's their fault. But guess what? Deep down, we know that's not true. And so you can blame everybody for your life, but deep down, you know that's not true, that you are responsible for your life. And as soon as we do that, as soon as we say, it's my responsibility, not others, you enter into your inner peace. And when you're there, then you can come from your wisdom and solve anything and everything. So when you raise your consciousness, those negative beliefs that the ego supports, they fight even harder because they don't want to die. The ego is very strong, and we need to understand that. And this is because we have given that ego that power. Again, there's no judgment here. This is the evolution of human beings. And we have evolved through having an ego and giving that ego the power to make our choices in life. But what we're learning is we're not happy, are we? No, we're not happy with that. So we have to do something different. And so what we do is, instead of focusing on the outer world, we focus on our inner world, because that's where you're going to find your real power. It's also going to give you the courage to release the power that you've given to your ego. Again, the ego just wants to be loved. You probably don't hear that. You probably hear some very detrimental things about ego. But it really is a part of us that really just needs to be loved and understood. David Hawkins wrote in his book, Power versus Force, and I know I've shared this with you before, but this is very, very important for us to understand. The extreme negativity of a few perverse individuals can sway entire cultures and produce a global drag on the general level of consciousness, as history illustrates too well. Kinesiological testing indicates that a mere 2.6% of the human population identifiable by an abnormal kinesiological polarity, which means that they're testing strong to negative attractors and weak to positive attractors, accounts for 72% of society's problems. 2.6%. Although only 15% of the world's population is above the critical consciousness level of 200, the collective power of that 15% has the weight to counterbalance the negativity of the remaining 85% of the world's people. Because the scale of power advances logarithmically, a single avatar at a consciousness level of 1,000 can, in fact, totally counterbalance the collective negativity of all of mankind. And thank you, Source. We've had those kind of people in the world that has done that for us. He says, were it not for these counterbalances, mankind would self-destruct out of the sheer mass of its unopposed negativity. The difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought is so enormous as to be beyond the capacity of the human imagination to easily comprehend. We can see from the analysis above, however, that even a few loving thoughts during the course of the day more than counterbalance all of the negative thoughts that you've had that day. And they say that 70% of our thoughts every day are negative. So just to put that in perspective, a Jesus, a Buddha, other avatars that we are familiar with from the past, these are the ones whose consciousness level was 1,000 and who held this, held humanity from destroying itself. And we have a lot of present-day avatars who are doing the same thing. And you probably don't hear about them because they don't go out there and preach and proclaim. In 1995, when Hawkins wrote this book, there were 12 people on the planet who calibrated at 700. If you have 12 people at 700, you have 1,000. You have the power of an avatar. And these 12 people during that time were keeping us from destroying ourselves. So this just brings us to the realization that your individual consciousness level is very important, not only to yourself, but to the consciousness level of humanity. Purification of the subconscious of all sense of separation, which again is the ego, is a very real process that takes place as your conscious mind, that which you are aware of around you, merges with your super conscious mind, your higher self, in the individual. So as these memories and thought patterns are transformed, sometimes dramatic effects are experienced. The chaos is the same process in the individual as the chaos in humanity as a whole when we move from one paradigm to another. Some of the symptoms of this purification process are depression. Depression as a result of suppressed emotions now being released. A feeling of emptiness, confusion, or disorientation. Old thought patterns are no longer occupying the same space in consciousness. There's been a shaking up, which is very important to a change. A flood of tears as memories of sadness associated with the past are washed away. It's a cleansing. The elimination system of the body may respond with a cold, diarrhea, rash, headache, old disease patterns emerging, tingling sensation, skin sensitivity, or waves of heat and cold. There may be surges of high energy as well as low energy, and the need for rest and sleep. There may be distinct sensations in the chakras as purified energy moves through to open them up to the higher energies of self. There may be burning sensations as the energy centers in the body are purified. Prayer and meditation may awaken the fire energy, the Kundalini energy within you. And this energy is the great purifier of spirit, which begins a subtle inner process of awakening. So as a result of this awakening, you may experience physical sensations of even rocking, shaking, or automatic breathing, pranayama. Some have reported speaking in tongues, laughing uncontrollably, and so forth. You may experience dietary changes, eliminating certain foods and adding others. You may have strong cravings for a food you usually don't even eat. Now, in general, what happens when we feel those kinds of things, we go to the doctor and get a medication, don't we? Yeah, fix me. But I'd like to invite you maybe to not do that, of course, unless you really need it, but perhaps instead focus on what is happening in your life and your thoughts about your life. And maybe give yourself credit for maybe you're raising your consciousness. Maybe you're getting rid of things that need to be, gotten rid of, changed, transmuted. You're changing yourself. Because when you go from a thought that I'm sick and I need to get medication when these are happening, to what is happening and why, and what's happening within me, then you're going to access the wisdom about what's really happening. Please understand, I'm not saying don't take medications. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, be very wise about what's happening with you. Pay attention and look, because that feeling that you get when you raise your consciousness can be very disturbing at times. I've been through that a few times myself. We're an evolving species, and that necessarily brings chaos. It has to, if you're making changes. Barbara Marx Hubbard identified it as the spiral effect. Normally, humanity is slowly spiraling upwards, taking our time. But sometimes we take a leap up in that spiral, and that's usually due to catastrophic events and intentional events. The harmonic convergence in August of 1987 was one of those events. The event was worldwide. People around the world came together for peace. And not only did that raise humanity's consciousness as a whole, it raised consciousness of the individuals, and it raised the consciousness of Gaia, Mother Earth. Mother Earth is a reflection of our consciousness. She is here to support us in this physical experiment that we are living. And so most of these leaps in consciousness and these expressions of love and caring tend to happen during catastrophes such as 9/11, tsunamis, earthquakes. Princess Diana's death was amazing how it brought people together. And we came together during COVID, didn't we? May we as a humanity get to the point where we can do this not because of a catastrophe, but as an everyday expression of our love and caring for each other. So in other words, listening to that little angel on the right side of your shoulder, she's very wise, or he is very wise, he or she. But that is, again, your pathway to your wisdom. Our communication systems support coming together with purposeful intentions to promote peace and love in the world. And we probably all have been a part of one of those things. Lynn McTaggart and Greg Braden, they bring us together on the web, and we hold intentions. And they are powerful, and they have measurable effects. We can do this. And as I think I'm going to use, I think I used 8 billion people in the world. But if you calculate the square root of 1% of a population, that is the amount that you need to have a measurable effect. That's just over 8,000 people coming together can have a measurable effect on what's happening in the world. That's how powerful we are, especially if we come together with this. Does this mean I just send out loving energy? Oh, excuse me. I have been asked, how can I stay calm about the things that are happening in our world? The world, the wars and all of that that's happening around, the hunger, the violence. Well, for me, the most important thing I can do in these circumstances is add the energy of love and caring. For me, adding to the fearful energy by joining in the drama and the anger is keeping those things here with us. We're contributing to them. That is why I do not get involved in the fear of that. But I really do get involved with the compassion for what's happening, and I send love and light and that kind of energy that is positive and harmonizes things, because that is what is powerful, and that's what we need in this world. I mean, if we look back to the 2.6% causing 72% of the problems, we need to change that ratio drastically, and we don't do it by joining the drama. We do it by sending the light and staying in the light and envisioning what you want, not what you don't want. And this is where we come into contact with our wisdom in order to do those things. So does this mean that I just send out love and do nothing? I listen to my divine guidance, the higher self, the little angel on my shoulder, because I trust that I will be guided to do what is mine to do. So yes, most of the time it's to do a lot more than you were doing when you come from that wisdom. So it's not about not doing anything, but it's about where are you coming from when you're doing it. That's what is important. So I invite you to get to know your higher self, that little angel, at a very intimate level, so that you are receiving that guidance all the time, not just when you say, oh, maybe I should check in with my guidance system. Just have it with you all the time and be aware of it. And I promise you, it'll change your life. It's a wonderful access to just realize who you are every moment and work with that wisdom instead of the wisdom of fear. So let us remember that the ego is an armor created by the mind that can only be shed by the light of your soul. It's on your program today. So I want to invite you now into some meditation with me. So please get very comfortable in your chair. Close your eyes. And I'm going to share with you today, it's from Bayan Pergrossi, a spiritual conspiracy. On the surface of the world right now, there is war and violence, and things seem dark. But calmly and quietly, at the same time, something is happening underground. An inner revolution is taking place. And certain individuals are being called to a higher light. It's a silent revolution from the inside out, from the ground up. This is a global operation, a spiritual conspiracy. There are sleeper cells in every nation on the planet. You won't see us on the TV. You won't read about us in the newspaper. You won't hear about us on the radio. We don't seek any glory. We don't wear any uniform. We come in all shapes and sizes, colors and styles. Most of us work anonymously. We are quietly working behind the scenes in every country and culture of the world. Cities big and small, mountains and valleys, in farms and villages, tribes and remote islands. You could pass by one of us on the street and not even notice. We go undercover. We remain behind the scenes. It is of no concern to us who takes the final credit, but simply that the work gets done. Occasionally, we spot each other in the street. We give a quiet nod and continue on our way. During the day, many of us pretend we have normal jobs. But behind the false storefront at night is where the real work takes place. Some call us the conscious army. We are slowly creating a new world with the power of our minds and hearts. We follow with passion and joy our orders from the central spiritual intelligence. We are dropping soft, secret love bombs when no one is looking. Poems, hugs, music, photography, movies, kind words, smiles, meditation and prayer, dance, social activism, websites, blogs, random acts of kindness, releasing grudges, letting go of judgments. We each express ourselves in our own unique ways with our own unique gifts and talents. Be the change you want to see in the world. That is the motto that fills our hearts. We know it is the only way real transformation takes place. We know that quietly and humbly we have the power of all the oceans combined. Our work is slow and meticulous, like the formation of mountains. It is not even visible at first glance, and yet with it entire tectonic plates shall be moved in the centuries to come. Love is the new religion of the 21st century. You don't have to be a highly educated person or have any exceptional knowledge to understand it. It comes from the intelligence of the heart, embedded in the timeless evolutionary pulse of all human beings. Be the change you want to see in the world. Nobody else can do it for you. We are now recruiting. Perhaps you will join us, or already have. All are welcome. The door is open. So take a deep breath. Take these words into your heart, because that is power in motion, coming from our hearts. Thank you all so much for being here today. Now you get to ask me questions.
That's right. You now have an opportunity to respond to today's talk.
We don't allow tomatoes, though.
No tomatoes.
No
No,
tomatoes?
no potatoes either.
And no potatoes, they hurt.
Either.
So in the long or short run, choosing matters.
It creates your life.
So you choose to see the joy, or you choose to feel the fear.
Exactly.
And you don't need to do both.
Actually, they can't
I
abide.
noticed. I have noticed that.
Yeah.
And in all of my, as I've said many times before, if you got to be 88 years old, there's got to be a reason. So
Yeah.
I spent so many years being concerned about if I was a good enough daughter or if mother's problems were because I wasn't. I can write pages on that.
Mm-hmm.
And in one moment, 2 or 3 years ago, while walking down the hallway, I said, I knew, it wasn't me, that was her leading her life.
Right.
I just happened to be there.
Yeah.
My goodness, did that ever change?
Yeah.
And there's no way to solve the rest, all the shit on the left side. That doesn't work at all. So you just have to concentrate on the other side.
Well, and the thing about that little devil on your shoulder presented you with lots of opportunities to learn about yourself and say, okay, do I want to keep this about myself or do I want to let it go? So again, that little devil is there for a reason when we are here on this earth. But we don't have to live with it forever. Yeah.
Thank you for this sermon this morning. And for me, this is especially important, what I'm going to talk about, given that we are a congregation that welcomes people from every religious and spiritual walk of life, wherever you might come from, whatever you might believe. And for me, even this morning, it would have been easy, and it was easy for me to listen to some songs and say, I don't believe it that way. That's not how I express it. Or to listen to your sermon and say, oh man, yeah, I don't believe that. Or to say, you know, for me, there's beauty in that song. There's meaning in that song, and I have a tendency to just rewrite it as I go. I substitute words all the time for y'all songs. Sean, I'll just be honest with you. I substitute my words. And the song works for me because I make that choice.
Yes.
When I listen to your sermon, I can substitute things for what you're saying. Or I can listen and choose to take out the beautiful things that you bring forth. And to me, it was super powerful when you talked about how the beautiful, positive things that we put out into the world can counteract all of that negative, ugly. And if we keep believing that and living like that, the beauty that comes out of that, we see it just within each other.
Absolutely.
If we meet each other in negativity, that spreads. So I really appreciate your words, even though I don't agree with all of them. I love all of them. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to say, I'm giving you information. Whether you take it or not is totally up to you and how you relate to life. I'm not up here saying you must believe what I say. I will never do that. But I do have to give you from my heart what I feel is true. Absolutely. And then you take it, you change the word if you want. If you don't like God, use source. That is your choice that you're making. See, those choices are very important. But, you know, just rejecting is not the answer. It's okay. You know, this part I believe, I'm going to change that word, or it doesn't work for me. But it's your energy that you're putting into it that matters. Yep. You know, you don't reject out of, you know, hatred or something. You reject because that doesn't work for me. Very simple, you know, things like that. Yeah. Thanks, Jody.
And I'm Tammy, I'm her daughter, and yes, that is so true. When we were little growing up, she definitely changed all the words for all those little, you know, tales and stuff that we would sing to her. She would sing to us. So I'm just letting you know.
Thanks, Tammy. Yeah.
I just want to comment on the idea of every moment we have a choice. The problem I see with that is we need to be present in order to feel that we have a choice.
Yeah. You must be aware of that power within you.
Sorry.
I mean, you could be sitting in a jail, but how you are perceiving that and creating that experience for you is still up to you. You might not be able to walk out the door, but your experience is totally up to you with that.
I have a terrific feeling that I want to hear us sing. Didn't anyone ever tell you?
Oh, yes. That is a beautiful song. Yeah.
Donna, what I loved most about everything you said today was I realized you just went through the Unitarian 7 principles at the highest level of consciousness that each of us could live.
I'm divinely guided, by the way, when I write this stuff and everything, so, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Anyone else?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. Our closing words are from Eckhart Tolle. We do have a hymn. Thank you so much. We have a hymn. All right.
I'm being joined by my people here on the stage tonight. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. Everybody sing. We are the world. Come on. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. Our children. Come on. We are the ones who make a better day. Lights. Lights. Turn your lights. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Your turn. Come on now. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. Louder. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true. We make a better day. Just you and me. Sing now, come on. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving. So let's start giving. We're saving our lives. It's true. Make a better day. Just you and me. Sing now. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We save our lives. It's true. We make a better day. Just you and me. Just you and me.
We are the world! Lionel Richie! E il coro Le dolci note. Dirette dal maestro.
Our closing words are from Eckhart Tolle. After these words, we'll extinguish the chalice. Awareness and ego cannot coexist. The moment you become aware of the ego in you, it is, strictly speaking, no longer the ego, just an old, conditioned mind pattern. Ego implies unawareness. Awareness and ego cannot coexist. And we can form our closing circle.